Hey, thanks for joining us for this very important topic on how to get more five-star reviews for your practice. Now, I'm going to be sharing some tips, some tools, some strategies that I'm confident that if you apply them, they could really significantly impact your practice. Specifically, some of the things I'm going to be talking about are strategies versus tools. You really need both. A triple touchpoint strategy that I think you'll find very helpful and strategic. Five pillars of trust. I'm going to also talk about brand protection and implementing the strategies. Now, there's a couple more reasons why five-star reviews are really important in today's world. And I want you to really understand this. It involves ChatGPT and what people refer to as LLMs, large language models, Claude, Perplexity, Gemini, and so on. So, because of this topic and how important it is and how it can impact your practice, I would ask in these next few minutes if you could tone down any kind of distractions and listen. I'm going to give really specific and practical strategies and tools, and I'll do my best with that. Briefly about me, I'll just mention a few things. I am the president and owner of Oral Surgeon Marketing Pros. I did write the only digital marketing book for oral surgeons specifically, and we were at the AAOMS conference in December in Chicago, the dental implant conference. There I was able to talk to well over 100 oral surgeons. It's very helpful. And I own this practice that has been in business for 15 years or so, helping businesses grow online and generate more patients, more clients, and so on. Okay, do online reviews matter? I think everyone here knows that they matter, but I want to go into why they matter. We've all heard this, 84% of people trust online reviews as much as a personal recommendation. And even if you're getting many referrals from dentists and other referral partners, you're still being checked out. They might receive a referral from a dentist, but they're still looking to say, like, who is this person? Is this dentist just friends with my oral surgeon or with this oral surgeon? Or is this someone that I really want to trust and go to? 77% of consumers think reviews more than 3 months old are not relevant. So it's really important that you have a regular practice that continues to build reviews. And in regards to ranking and lead generation, good current reviews impact your ranking 16% of local SEO. Now, local SEO is not Google ads where you're paying per click or local service ads where you're buying leads from Google. This is that free area that's associated with the maps. So just getting reviews can help improve your rankings in local SEO. Now, here's the one that people are the people that are looking into this, they understand it, but I want to share this with you. ChatGPT and the other AI tools that are out there, more and more people are typing in your practice would be who's the best oral surgeon in my area or who's the best oral surgeon, and then they put the town. And you should do that to see where you rank or if you're showing up. They might even ask who are the best two or three in my area and see if you show up. And one of the areas where ChatGPT and the other ones are going is reviews, but it's not just Google reviews, it's your whole online presence. So it's important to get reviews, but it's also important to share those reviews and to steer your patients to the many other different areas where you could be found. So it's really becoming evident because people are so dependent upon the internet that online views really could make or break your practice. I find this interesting. So I talk to various oral surgeons and business owners and so on, and we have great conversations and I get to know them. And what I'm taken back at is the number of business owners that are just great, great people, and they're great at what they do, and they're passionate at what they do, and especially oral surgeons, they've invested, their whole life and a lot of money and a lot of education to get to the level that they're at. But boy, you wouldn't know it if you looked online. And so many of your patients are coming to you, and of course, they don't know you. Maybe they received a referral, maybe they found you online, but they're going to the internet to find out about you. And the number one way they do that is through reviews. People trust them. So I get excited and passionate about helping these really great people that are helping others to have their online presence be reflected as to who they are. And so it takes some work, and that's what we're talking about here. So the cost of not doing this is it could really drag down your entire business. Like you could be the best oral surgeon in the world. And, if your online presence doesn't reflect that, or if you're not getting reviews, it's really going to impact your business. I think we've all seen people in various industries have amazing marketing, but it's the the service or the product isn't as great as the marketing says it is, right? Now, this slide is pointing out that you could be spending a lot of money on marketing, but then if your online reviews aren't good, all this marketing effort, they're going to check you out, and then it's not going to convert into a patient because they might see someone in your area that has more reviews and better reviews. So, although the cost of failure is high, the opportunity is outstanding to know this and to take advantage of this. And it's not that difficult. And I want to give you some specific steps. So I really want to encourage you to be the provider of choice in your area and to stand out amongst your competition, to allow your reputation to speak for itself online. Um, so conversion of Google profile improves 44% when a practice increases the average rating by one full star. So let's say you have, a 3.9 rating from Google. And if you can move that to a 4.9, you're going to convert 44% more traffic into your business by improving just one star. Now, it's difficult to improve one star. Like I've held the hand of several businesses and I've challenged them and I've said, hey, part of the reason why you don't have a lot of leads is because, if you didn't know who to go to, pull up, oral surgeon in your area. Who would you pick if you didn't know who to go to? Would you pick you? And when someone has a lower rating, they're like, okay, well, what do I got to do to improve this? And so then I walk them through what I'm walking you through now. And then I coach them and I check in with them. And sometimes through a lot of work, depending on how many reviews you have, the more reviews you have, the more difficult it is to increase it. And just by increasing 1/10 of a star, you could improve conversions by 4.4%. So I had the opportunity or the pleasure actually to walk a company move from 4.4 to 4.7, and they had a lot of reviews, and it was a lot of hard work. But it really impacts the business, as you'll find out here more. So, if you didn't know who to go to, who would you call if you were looking at these options? Now, the first one is an ad. You could see the word sponsored here. It also says dentist. So this dentist has put the oral surgeon word in here to try to get their ad to show up. So here you have a 5.0, a 4.8, and a 4.9. Now I'm going to throw the dentist out for a couple of reasons. One is they only have 11 reviews, and then two is they're a dentist and I'm looking for an oral surgeon. Now, not everyone knows that this is an ad, even though it says sponsored. So 750 reviews with a 5.0. That's impressive. Over 1,000 reviews at 4.8, and then 312 at 4.8. So this one here, Naperville Oral Surgery, is getting the most people by far. Now they have The stats would say that actually a 4.8 is more trustworthy than a 5.0 because a lot of times people see 5.0 and they're suspicious of that. Um, so they're perfect in all situations. That's questionable. And another thing that people do is they tend to go to the negative ones. Like they want to see, hey, what was it? Even though 4.8 is like really, really good and trustworthy. If you were to go to this one, you would see that the people that don't give a 5.0 tend to be people that owe money and the practice to reach out to them, kind of saying like, you know, would you be kind enough to pay your bill? And then they get upset and then they leave a one-star review. Um, but these three are just all, outstanding, very trustworthy. 4.8 to 5.0 is great. Now these people really have their review system dialed in, the 750 and over, 1100. They have that dialed in, they get that. Um, this one, these top two might be more trustworthy just because they do a lot more business. It looks like anyway, from just looking online. Um, this practice might be 4 times bigger than this one down here, and this one is almost 3 times bigger. So again, it's your rating, but it's also the volume. Those are the factors that people look at, and they do. There's another thing here that people look at, and they look at the your responses, which I'll touch on briefly. So this is just that dental one. Again, I'm going to throw this out. I mean, yeah, they might have a 5.0, but they only have 11 and they get discounted right away. So reviews are absolutely important. Again, they could really make and break your company. They impact your rankings. Like you're going to be first, second, or third. They impact the trustworthiness, and they're a conversion factor. So just kind of a check-in here is controlling and managing your online reviews and reputation. Is it important to you? I hope by now it is because I'm gonna get into kind of some strategy. And briefly, I'm just going to touch on this. I'm a big believer in this. I've been coaching businesses for quite a while, and the key to success is implementation. Um, Sometimes when people shoot for perfection and they want like this perfect system all figured out and everything's going to be great before they do anything, that tends to lead to nothing. Because when you shoot for perfection, it's just too hard to obtain right away. Version one is always better than version none. So I would encourage you to take action. And at the end of these five, I'm going to ask you, which one you really need to take action on. So first one, of course, is provide a world-class patient experience. Now that's not just your bedside manners, although that's really important, but that's like the whole experience. And actually, it kind of starts online. If you could even have a video showing what the patient is going to see when they approach the desk. Is there someone that is going to be there, that's friendly, that there's not clutter everywhere? It's inviting to come to. Is the person helpful? Are they responsive? Do they really value that someone has come to the practice? So it starts there, and it's the online interactions, whether it's email or text, the phone call, the in the office, walking them back, the whole experience, the instructions that are provided afterwards. Do you have anything online that you follow up with, whether it be text or email with additional instructions? Is there a place to get help? Does the doctor call them that evening to say, hey, just checking in, want to see how you're doing? Those calls go a really long way. And it's the whole experience. And I love the idea of under promising and over delivering. It's a beautiful thing in the business world. Now, there's a book out that is called Unreasonable Hospitality. And I would encourage this book if you're looking to improve sort of the soft touches. This is a book about it's the context is hotels, but in this book they really talk about over delivering and providing more than what's expected. And so often it's those little things that go such a long way that people are taken back at, and then they rave about you and they talk to other people about the experience. So that's really what you're looking for. So principle two, build an online review reputation management into your company culture. So it's one thing to have a strategy on getting reviews, which many of you maybe need to start there, or maybe you have a system in place where like someone at the front desk is responsible for asking for a review at the end, or someone's responsible to send out like an email or a text asking for a review. That's a great place to start. This principle is actually asking you to build it into your company culture. So what would it look like to build that into your company culture? You may start out with staff meetings, reading a couple of recent reviews and acknowledging your team on how they impacted the review, because a good review so often involves so many touches from the entire team, not just what the doctor does. And just from one manager to another, people love acknowledgement. They want to be acknowledged for their work. They come in every day. And so to call them out in front of their peers in a positive way to say, like, hey, Stacy, you greeted this patient. Great job. And Rebecca, you met with this person and did review the questionnaire and did the pre-work and so on. It's a great way to acknowledge it. And it's just a common thing that every staff meeting that you do, you're reading these reviews is to acknowledge people. Another way to put it inside your culture is maybe you have 350 reviews, but perhaps you have a goal every month to get X amount of reviews. Maybe you want 20 more reviews per month. And whenever the team hits 20 reviews, you buy lunch for them or you do something fun for them. And that's kind of a clever way to um, enhance the company culture because it's helpful for people to see coworkers outside of the workspace to do something fun. Um, but another one is like posting that goal on the wall in the break room. Is there a goal that's posted to say like, hey, our goal this month is, X amount of reviews, and then to update that. We're halfway there. We got 10 reviews. The goal is 20, making that part of your company culture. I recently was picking up my wife's car at a auto repair place, and what I saw on the back of the wall was three gigantic customer reviews etched on the wall with the customer's name on it. And obviously, that company understood the value of reviews. Many companies will put some great reviews right on the wall. There's a way to get them printed up and they look really classy. And it's just something that it shows that the practice values uh, outstanding service and then getting those 5-star reviews. So consider different ways that you could put online reviews into your company culture. All right, principle three, what you measure, inspect, and celebrate, you get more of, you create more of. If I were to dial that down a little bit, um, I would say what you measure, you can improve. And if you're not measuring it, it's very difficult to improve. Like you might say, oh, we really need, more online reviews. Okay, well, are you talking about the number that you're at, and are you talking about a goal? And are you providing a strategy for your team to get there? And then are you incentivizing them to get there? So that's what I would encourage you to do. And then celebrate is really important. I talked about like a company lunch. Um, in my coaching with many different businesses, sometimes managers don't really know what to incentivize with, or they pick the wrong item. What I like to do is I like to create kind of a budget in my mind, and I ask the team, I say like, hey, we have X amount of dollars set aside for this. What would motivate you to hit this goal? Or what sounds fun to you? Sometimes it's concert tickets, sometimes it's Amazon gift cards. But I would ask your team, like, how can we celebrate hitting that goal of what we're after? All right, principle four, leverage there's like so many tools out there. So I'm going to say leverage the best tools out there to make it easy to get reviews. And it could be, email, SMS. Now, I would say I am a firm believer from a lot of experience, the best way to get reviews is to like provide that world-class experience, mention that your practice is really dependent upon good reviews. Even I notice when the doctor mentions it, it really goes a long way. And then to ask for a review um, somewhere in like face to face in the practice. Uh, Maybe if they're, too drugged at the end, maybe it's when they come back to get checked in to see how they're recovering. But asking face to face is going to be the highest percentage that you're going to get a review. But email and SMS and different apps are also a great way to get reviews. That's a great way to follow up. And there's also ways that you can create automation so that you don't always have to be doing things manually. Now, here's a list of some review platforms. Some of them are medical specific, HIPAA verified, and so on. Podium, this last one is a really big one. They're not that expensive. The price of them is very reasonable, and they kind of make it easy to get reviews. Now, outside of this, there's lots of different softwares to get reviews, including using QR codes. Like you could have something right on your, um, actually, I have something here, something right on the desk on the counter where they could have a QR code that they have access to with their camera, and it could go right to your Google listing. So principle 5, now this is important for several different reasons, but acknowledge and respond to every review. And I would say do that within 24 hours. Why? Because people, when they read the review, they want to see your response. Now, I will say how you respond to a negative review is really, really important. Just a tip there, don't ever get defensive. Review your high standards that you have for your practice. Apologize. If there's a strategy you're going to do to avoid this, great. If it's this happens quite often, sometimes you get a one-star review, it doesn't even relate to your practice or it even relates to a different business. Those you definitely want to protest with Google, and it's easy to do. Let us know if you get stuck with that. Those should be removed right away. But it's really important that you respond. And then I will also say that responding helps your ranking. Google wants to provide an excellent experience for those using their platform. So they'd rather see you responding to those reviews. Now, I will say within 24 hours because that shows that you really care about your reviews and also shows that you're really responsive from a customer service standpoint. And it just speaks volumes about your business. If you're waiting, a few weeks, if you have a patient that has an issue and they post a negative review, like they don't want to wait 2 weeks until the company calls them to say like, hey, we notice there's an issue, you posted a review. Like they want help right away. So the faster you can respond to those, the better. And I would also say lastly, like don't make it sound the same all the time. Try to be personable. Try to mention something that you recognize and know who they are without, being inappropriate. But make it sound fresh, make it sound personable, and respond right away. So those are the 5 principles. Here's just an example, someone posting a review and then having a response below. So review of a strategy, put a system in place to ensure that every review gets tracked and measured. Task someone on your team with responding. Now I put that one on there because so often I've talked to owners and then, we owners get overly responsible and we feel like, oh, we have to do this. Um, it's better if you delegate this. It's better if you put one person in charge. And just from a management standpoint, even if you want the team involved, put one person in charge of that, take it off your plate, uh, discuss it, set a goal, empower them, discuss a strategy, and celebrate your victories. That's going to be your best way. And then third, formulate a strategy for professionally addressing and dealing with negative reviews. Really important. Um, you don't want to, I, I mean, I mentioned earlier that people read negative reviews, right? So you don't want to respond in a way that is going to hurt you more. And I could tell you, I've talked to many owners who get super frustrated with negative reviews, especially when like half of the review isn't even true. And I hear it, people feel safe to vent how frustrated they are. But if you're feeling that way, that's not the time to respond. Let someone else respond in a professional way. So be aware of that. All right. So for every 25% of reviews responded to, conversion of Google profile improves 4.1%. Again, I'm just reinforcing respond to those reviews. It's going to improve your rankings. And the final success statement, be the go-to oral surgeon in your area, rank accordingly, and maximize your conversions. If you put these strategies in place, you're going to get more conversions, you're going to rank higher, and uh, the more reviews that you have, the more people feel safe to post more reviews. If you've noticed, have you ever seen a listing have a negative review? And then what they do is they pile on. They're like, oh, yeah, this company stinks. I'm going to leave a negative review too. And then they feel safer to put negative reviews. So the more positive reviews you have, the more that people will feel safe to put positive reviews on there. So earlier I said, the key to success is implementation. I'd love for you to write down, when you write stuff down, we use a different part of our brain. Which one of these do you need to work on to help your business? Even if there's one that you could take action on maybe today or by the end of the week, that would be an outstanding thing for you to do. So write it down, take action, and that's going to help you. Now, if you'd like any help on this, we're here to help at no charge. If you want like a free kind of evaluation, whether it's your review system or whether it's your online visibility or your website effectiveness, because you can have a great website, but if it's not converting new patients to get the phone ring, to get people in your chairs, that's going to impact your business. So feel free to reach out, raise your hand, schedule a call with me. You could scan this QR code, give us a call, or visit us at Oral Surgeon Marketing Pros. And again, implementation is the key to success. Make it a great day.